Your phone just buzzed. Go ahead, check it. Nothing there? You're not losing your mind. 90% of people experience that exact hallucination. Your brain sees patterns that don't exist, forgets things the moment you walk through a door, and tricks you into loving furniture you built poorly. Here are 8 psychological phenomena that sound completely fake, but are scientifically proven. Number 1, phantom vibration syndrome. Your pocket buzzes. You reach for your phone. Nothing. No notification. No message. Just your brain making things up. This is phantom vibration syndrome, and nearly 90% of smartphone users have experienced it. In studies of medical staff, 68% reported feeling phantom vibrations regularly. For medical interns, that number jumped to 96% during high-stress periods. The craziest part? People feel the phantom buzz even when the phone isn't in their pocket. Your brain has become so conditioned to expect notifications that it interprets any slight sensation as a vibration, a muscle twitch, your clothes shifting, anything. Your body has essentially trained itself to hallucinate for notifications. And over 90% of people who experience this say it's not even bothersome. We've just accepted that our phones have rewired our nervous system. Number 2, semantic satiation. Say the word bowl out loud. Now say it again and again. Keep going. Bowl, bowl, bowl. By about the 30th repetition, something weird happens. The word stops meaning anything. It's just a sound, meaningless noise. This is semantic satiation, and it proves your brain can literally get bored of understanding. The term was coined in 1962 by Leon Jakobovits James at McGill University. What's happening is spreading activation. The neural pathways connecting the word to its meaning get fatigued from overuse. The connection temporarily breaks. Here's where it gets really strange. Researchers found that people with anterograde amnesia who can't form new memories still experience semantic satiation. They reported the effect happening even though they couldn't remember repeating the words at all. The effect happens whether you say the word aloud or just stare at it long enough. Your brain's dictionary doesn't crash. It just needs a reboot. Number 3, the doorway effect. You walk into a room, you stop. Why are you here? What were you doing? You have no idea. So you walk back to where you came from and suddenly you remember. You wanted water. This is the doorway effect, and it's not a sign of memory problems. It's a feature of how your brain organizes information. In 2011, University of Notre Dame professor Gabriel Radvansky discovered that doorways serve as event boundaries in the mind. When you cross a threshold, your brain essentially closes one file and opens another. The memories from the old room get filed away because they seem less relevant in the new context. Your brain is compartmentalizing. It creates greater capacity by doing this, but there's a cost. You lose things between compartments. A follow-up study found the effect only kicks in when you're already cognitively overloaded. If your brain is working hard on something else, that doorway hits harder. Your brain doesn't have a bad memory, it just has an aggressive filing system. Number 4, the Tetris Effect. Play Tetris for a few hours, then try to go to sleep. You'll see falling blocks. Close your eyes, and there they are. Go to the grocery store the next day, and you'll catch yourself thinking about how the cereal boxes could fit together more efficiently. This is the Tetris Effect. When you dedicate massive amounts of time to a repetitive activity, it infiltrates your thoughts, your dreams, and your perception of reality. The term comes from the 1984 video game, but it applies to anything. Driving, coding, spreadsheets. Whatever you do obsessively, your brain keeps doing it when you stop. Researchers found that new Tetris players show huge spikes in brain glucose metabolic rates. Their brains are working overtime. After a few weeks, those levels return to normal, even as performance improves. The brain has optimized. It's running the program more efficiently. Now for the weirdest part. Playing Tetris can actually reduce traumatic memories because the game occupies visuospatial working memory. It competes with the brain's ability to consolidate trauma. In one study, 3 minutes of Tetris per day reduced drug and food cravings from 70% to 50%. Your brain doesn't know when to clock out, but sometimes that's useful. If you're finding this interesting, consider subscribing. I drop videos like this regularly. Anyway, back to it. Number 5, the Baader-Meinhof Phenomenon. You learn a new word, then you hear it 3 times that same week. You buy a new car. Suddenly that exact model is everywhere. Coincidence? No. It's the Baader-Meinhof Phenomenon, also called the frequency illusion. And it proves your brain is running confirmation bias in the background without telling you. Here's what's happening. When you notice something new, Your brain flags it as important. That triggers selective attention. You start scanning for it. Then confirmation bias kicks in. Every time you spot it, you think it's appearing more often. But it's not. It was always there. You just weren't paying attention. The name comes from a 1994 letter to the St. Paul Pioneer Press. Someone mentioned the Baader-Meinhof gang, a German militant group, then kept seeing references to them everywhere. Other readers shared similar experiences, and the term stuck. Stanford linguist Arnold Zwicky later coined the more academic name, frequency, illusion, in 2005. The 11:11 phenomenon is a classic example. People swear they always look at the clock at 11:11. They don't. They just remember those times and forget the thousands of times they looked at different numbers. The universe isn't sending you signs. Your brain is just finally paying attention. Number 6, the IKEA Effect. That bookshelf you assembled? The one that's slightly crooked and took 3 hours? You love it more than any perfect store-bought furniture you own. This is the IKEA Effect, and it's been proven in controlled studies. Harvard professor Michael Norton found that people who built their own IKEA boxes valued them at 78 cents on average. People who received identical pre-built boxes valued them at only 48 cents. That's a 63% premium for labor that added zero objective value to the product. The effect works on origami, Legos, loom bands, basically anything you make yourself. But here's the catch. The effect disappears if you fail to complete the task or if your creation gets destroyed. It only kicks in when the labor leads to something you can point to and say, I made that. The funniest finding? People expect others to share their inflated valuation. They don't. Your crooked bookshelf is objectively worse than the factory-made one. But your brain doesn't care. Effort equals love, even when the effort produced something mediocre. Quick reminder, if you're enjoying this, subscribing really helps out. Now, where were we? Number 7, the Cheerleader Effect. Here's a dating hack proven by science. Bring friends. You literally look more attractive when you're not alone. This is the Cheerleader Effect, first demonstrated by researchers Drew Walker and Edward Vull in 2013. They showed participants group photos, then cropped individual faces from those same photos. People rated the same face higher when they'd seen it in a group. The effect is small, about 1.5 to 2%, but it's consistent. It works for men and women, groups of any size, and applies to bodies as well as faces. The explanation? Your brain doesn't evaluate faces individually. It averages them. When you see a group, you perceive each face as being closer to the group average, and we find average faces very attractive. Composite faces made by blending many faces together are rated more attractive than any individual face that created them. There's also an alternative theory. We might just pay more attention to the most attractive person in a group and project that impression onto everyone. Either way, the effect is named after a line from How I Met Your Mother. Barney Stinson explained it in a 2008 episode, years before scientists confirmed it was real. Your attractiveness is partially a team sport. Number 8, the overview effect. Every psychological phenomenon we've covered so far is something you can experience. This one requires leaving the planet. The overview effect is a cognitive shift reported by astronauts when they see Earth from space for the first time. It's been described as intense awe, self-transcendence, and a profound sense of connection to all humanity. In a survey of 39 astronauts and cosmonauts, every single one reported positive psychological changes from viewing Earth in space. They described an intellectual understanding of Earth suddenly clicking into an experiential understanding. The difference between knowing something and feeling it. Author Frank White coined the term in his 1987 book. Researchers at Penn found that actively photographing Earth from space has measurable positive psychological effects. The overview effect might be the key to astronaut well-being on long-duration missions. But there's a problem. Earth is visible from the Moon. It's barely visible from Mars. Scientists are concerned about what happens to astronaut mental health when they can't see home anymore. The rarest psychological phenomenon we know of requires seeing your entire world from the outside. Only about 600 humans have ever experienced it, and scientists still don't fully understand why it happens. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. See you.